Welcome everyone. Today, we're going to learn about the present tense in Spanish, which is called presente. The forms of the present tense might seem a bit complicated at first because Spanish uses a different ending for each pronoun. But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step. It's important to remember that Spanish verbs have three types of conjugation. We have verbs that end in ar, like hablar, which means to speak. Then, we have verbs that end in like beber, which means to drink. And finally, we have verbs that end in ir, like escribir, which means to write. Once you've memorized the endings for each type of verb, you can apply them to all Spanish verbs. Now, let's look at regular conjugation. It is a table showing how verbs ending in ar, and ir are conjugated in the present tense. For example, let's take the verb hablar, which means to speak. For yo, which means I, we say hablo. For tú, which means you, informal, we say hablas. For él, ella, or usted, which means que, she, or you, formal, we say habla. And it continues for nosotros, we, vosotros, you all, informal, and ellos, or ustedes, they, or you all, formal. The same pattern applies to verbs like beber, and ir, verbs like escribir. Most Spanish verbs are regular, meaning they follow these rules. So if you know the verb type in the subject pronoun, you can easily conjugate the verb. Some verbs have irregular endings that you'll have to memorize. Here are the most important changes. For verbs where o changes to ue, like poder, which means can, we say puedo, for I can. For changing to ie, like entender, which means to understand, we say entiendo, for I understand. And for changing to like repetir, which means to repeat, we say repito, for I repeat. Let's see how these changes apply to all the pronouns. For poder, we have puedo, puedes, puede, podemos, podéis, and pueden. The same pattern applies to entender and repetir. These irregular changes occur in the stem of the verb, but the endings are regular. Besides the common irregular changes, some verbs have only one irregular ending in the first person singular. For example, saber, to know, becomes sé, caber, to fit, becomes quepo, hacer, to do, to make, becomes hago, salir, to leave, to go out, becomes salgo, poner, to put, becomes pongo, and caer, to fall, becomes caigo. These verbs follow regular conjugation patterns for all other forms, but you need to memorize the irregular first-person singular form. Finally, we have some verbs with irregular forms that are difficult to classify. These should also be memorized. For ser, to be, we say soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and son. For ir, to go, we say voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, and van. For tener, to have, we say tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, and tienen. Similarly, for venir, to come, we say vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, venís, and vienen. For decir, to say, we say digo, dices, dice, decimos, decís, and dicen. For oír, to hear, we say oigo, oyes, oye, oímos, oís, and oyen. And for seguir, to follow, we say sigo, sigues, sigue, seguimos, seguís, and siguen. These verbs don't follow a single pattern, so the best way to learn them is through practice and memorization. Now is the time to practice to see if you remember the content of this lesson. Finished today's lesson. The next lesson is about estar y gerundio, present participle. Thank you for your attention and participation. If you have any questions or need further clarification, feel free to ask. Buena suerte con tu aprendizaje del español. Good luck with your Spanish learning.